just to see Sauce Gardner coming into his own as well. You know how I feel about him and the conversations we've had on the show beforehand, and how you chose him first in the draft this year. I'm wondering, what did you think of the Cheesehead on his head after the game, Coach? What did you think of that one?
Well, if you know Sauce, you laugh. Because you know his personality. He doesn't have a malicious bone in his body, and he was just embracing the moment and having a good time. Where there's other people who would put the Cheesehead on, and you'd be like, man, that guy's being a jerk. But that's not Sauce. Anyone who knows Sauce knows he's fun-loving. Even when he talks smack on the football field, he does it in a fun-natured way. And I think he's just got this personality that gravitates people towards him. You know, he's a great young man, and now do you want to do that and show up your opponent? You never want to do that, but knowing where his heart is and what he was doing, everyone in this building and anyone who's had a conversation with him knows he doesn't have a malicious bone in his body.
And Breece Hall is just beginning to shine that light as well that caused you guys to, I'm sure, maybe have a bit of a sleepless night from Thursday to Friday of draft week, where you knew he was still in play and you knew you had a shot to go get him, and you knew, you could kind of trade all the way up to the first spot of the first night to make sure it happened, but didn't. He's just been dynamite. Is he your bell cow back? Is that the plan for him, Coach Saleh?
No, this is what's great about our system, because Michael people better not sleep on Michael. Michael got 7 carries in the game, especially in that fourth quarter when we started committing to the run game a little bit more, and he churned out explosive yards. He has a couple of touchdowns rushing. So we've got 2 backs that can go off at any moment. As it pertains to Breece, he's the hot hand right now, and he's done a lot of really, really good things. But just like I'd say about Quinnen, eventually teams are going to gear down to try to stop you. And it's like, great, do that, because then it's going to create one-on-one opportunities for Carl Lawson. It's going to create one-on-one opportunities for Michael Carter. It's going to create one-on-one opportunities for Corey Davis and all the other receivers. So his emergence is awesome, because it's going to create opportunities for all the guys that we feel like would strive in a one-on-one situation. And so we're excited about the direction that it's going, obviously, and teams are going to start gearing to focusing and trying to take people away, and we just got to be ready to counter when we can, and we thankfully have the pieces to do that.
New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh here on the Rich Eisen Show. You mentioned your receiving core a little bit right there, Corey Davis and the rest of the receivers. I'm sure you knew I would be asking you about this question, because it is the season of trade deadline nearing, and so many other teams out there, you just visited one, would love to have a young receiver who wants out of another organization. And Elijah Moore has made it known he is not pleased with the current situation. And what is his current status right now, Coach?
I'm going to go on record. I do want to say, Elijah's a good kid. And so obviously whenever you do something like this, perceptions can be made, and people will, and obviously perception's reality, all that stuff. But Elijah's a good kid. He's an absolute competitor and wants to help this team win. And in his mind, if he's not able to do it here, he'd love to do it somewhere else. Well, he is going to be a big part of why we are successful. He is a huge part of this, and he's a good kid, a competitor. He is not disrespectful. He's a phenomenal young man. I want to make sure that's clear. But he's fine. He's in the building. Obviously, he's not going to play this weekend. He's got a workout regimen that he's going to follow over the next 3 days, and he'll rejoin the team on Monday. But as far as we're concerned, there's no intent in trading. We're not trading Elijah. For all the reasons why another team would love to have him. Well, we love that we have him, and he's going to be a big part of this, and he's part of the reason why when a guy like Breece Hall gets attention paid to him, or Corey Davis or Garrett Wilson, it's why we can continue to pick your poison. You can pick Braxton. You can focus on Elijah. You can focus on Garrett. You can focus on the tight ends, 2 backs, Corey. What do you want to do? And when those guys are all operating and hitting on all cylinders, it's very hard for a team just to focus on one guy, because we can just run our offense. We don't have to. It's not just, okay, everyone knows it's going to this person, so let's just double and triple team them and take everyone away. So we're kind of spoiled in that regard, and they're very young. too. They're very young, so as they continue to find their niche and their style of play, it's only going to get better.
So he won't be on the team plane to Denver this weekend, Elijah?
He will not.
Okay.
He'll be here.
So, and when you mentioned earlier on in this conversation that the team's not close to where you think it can be, would you throw the passing game in that bucket right there, Coach?
It's everything. Can we get the run game going earlier? Can we get the pass game going earlier? I've referenced it a couple of times. Like in that Pittsburgh game, we're down 2 scores going in the fourth quarter, and our pass game flexed its muscles. I think people forget that already, and went over 70 yards on 2 different drives against a really good defense in a hostile environment in a stadium that nobody wins in when Renegade plays to start the fourth quarter. And Zach and the passing attack and the protection was flawless, and we win a football game. And then the last 2 weeks we've been blessed in the sense that we've been able to seize control of a game in the fourth quarter with our run game and our defense. And so I don't think the pass game's lagging. I think we played the 5th ranked defense in football, a team that just prides itself on stopping the pass game, and we took what the defense was giving us, which was the run game. And now we're playing another team that's every bit as good as the team we played last week from a defensive standpoint, if not even better. And they're playing at a high level, and by all means necessary, we got to find a way to move the ball. So I don't think the pass game's lagging, but at the same time, I don't think it's anywhere near where it's going to go because they're all pups. They're all first and second year players still trying to find their footing. And I think if I'm a fan, or if I'm a player, or if I'm a coach in this organization, I'm really, really excited. And if I'm not in this organization and I'm on the outside looking in, not a fan or a coach for another team, I'm very nervous about what's being created here.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.